Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. More topic videos. Like I said in the past couple of videos, where me and my family are just in the midst of some big changes. So so excuse the lack of videos. Hopefully in the next video I might have a movie review. So just hopefully, but not no promises. Just because this month, like I said, it's kind of tempered, kind of chaotic. So, um, but we're doing more topic videos, and hopefully we'll have some movie reviews in the future. But just to clarify once again, sorry, the lighting just went crazy. Um, just to clarify once again, it is all good things for my family, so don't be, no concern needed or anything like that. And I'll explain pretty soon here what is up. So. Um, But in the meantime, let's do another topic video. And this one I'm actually kind of curious to do because it's not a discussion that's really had. I mean, I guess you can say it's going to be brought up a little bit because of the writer's strike going on. And that is involving NDAs. And this was brought up most recently with Ruth Nelson. No, sorry, Ruth Wilson. Sorry, not Ruth. I was going to say Ruth Nelson. Um, Ruth Wilson, who I have no idea who she is. Um, isn't it funny how, usually with these kinds of topics, it's always brought up by people that you just don't really know too much about? Like they're just kind of nobodies in this business. Um, I don't know, just an interesting observation I've noticed. It's just like you don't hear a lot of, big, people saying shit like that, and I think that there's this particular topic actually might have reason for that. So, um, but Ruth Wilson, yeah, Ruth Wilson. Sorry, Ruth Wilson. I had to rethink this. Like, yeah, it's Ruth Wilson. It's Ruth Wilson. Um, she made a comment recently about NDAs, and she basically stated that she felt that NDAs are pointless. And um, there's 2 points in her comments that I want to address because one of them I do agree with, and the other one I don't. Um, which is that the first point, which she says, is that she stated that all women, I mean, it's a liberal shit, it's a liberal mindset that she's on, but just to play along with it, all women should not have, or like, there's an expectation that all women in this industry should, they're all going to agree, and, play along and, everyone's all neutral and fine. She says that that assumption and that idea is just ridiculous. In her words, unrealistic. Which, to me, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. That is that's something that I completely agree with because if anybody thinks that, oh, everybody agrees with everything in Hollywood, I mean, it's a very, very dumb and stupid thing to assume because obviously everybody, and I'll go a step further with her comments, it's not just women, anybody in this industry, you know, I think that they should be allowed to vocalize, how they feel, they should be allowed to, if they want to make a comment on certain things, they shouldn't have to, talk to this person or that person, or have to be tiptoeing around certain things or having to play neutral. No, they should be able to express themselves, and they should be able to say that, hey, I don't like this, or I love this. They should be able to do that sort of thing. Um, and I think we've been seeing that more recently. People are just kind of just saying, fuck it, I'm just gonna say how I feel, which I like. I like that, that Hollywood's, or at least that people in the system are not looking to be quiet. They're actually looking to voice themselves more, which I like. I like that. Um, and sometimes I agree and sometimes I don't. Which with the next example, um, she made another comment about it, which was because I agree on that point, which is that people, the expectation that everybody should get along. I think that that's stupid. Obviously there's gonna be people in this business that you don't like, that you don't want to associate yourself with, or there's things in the system that you just really really don't like. You should be allowed to vocalize that. You should be allowed to express such things. You shouldn't be penalized for that sort of stuff. So because ultimately it's just an opinion. It's I get that it's also a bit of a hypocrisy because you're in the system, you are a part of the industry, but you should be allowed to voice yourself regardless. I think that that is something to that capacity I can agree with. What I don't agree with is the next point that she made, which is that there's the idea that NDAs are completely useless and they should be done with. We shouldn't need these sort of things. Um, if there's the way she says that if there's a problem, we should be able to deal with it. And I guess in her context, it's like we should be able to deal with it publicly or whatever like that, or we should be able to express said issues. Now that to me is where I disagree on on the necessity of NDAs. I feel like you absolutely need the NDA when it comes to that sort of thing. When it comes to business between you and a studio or a corporation or whoever you're working with, that is private business. That is stuff that you talk to the director and the studio with. You don't talk to us about that shit. That's shit that we don't need to hear about. Okay? Because, like ultimately you're just like in doing so, like when you're putting it out publicly, you're hoping that the public will sway those decisions. You're hoping that okay, maybe the everybody will help me in getting what I want. And that to me is just not a cool thing to do. I hate when people bring up like their dirty laundry and shit like that. It's just like I don't need to hear that shit. I don't need to hear about how you're not making this kind of money or you're not getting this sort of thing because I know the tactic. I know the reasoning why you're bringing it up. It's not to vent and stuff like that. It's with the hopes that everybody will band together to help you get a certain thing. That's not right. Like that's the reason why NDAs exist because NDAs are meant to you know to to stop leaks or to get certain information out there, like stuff that's meant to be in house, like stuff that actually legitimately is meant to be in house. That stuff. It's like I get that. I get why NDAs have to exist in that capacity because there's shit that people just don't need to know. Like there's just stuff that only you and the studio need to know. Because like to us, what does it matter? Yeah, I'll make a comment on it and yeah, I'll have an opinion on it, but do I actually need to know that information? Not really. I don't really need to know that information. And it's also again another hypocrisy because she says that well we don't need NDAs. We should be able to deal with our shit publicly, or we should be able to deal with it in any capacity. You say that, but let something happen to you, and then NDAs don't exist, and all your shit's out there in public. Then all of a sudden you want an NDA. Then all of a sudden you want privacy. So it's a bit hypocritical what she's saying because if it happened to her in a certain capacity, of course she would want that privacy. Of course she would want to handle things in her own way or with a studio or a private business and stuff like that. So, so there is a necessity for NDAs. There is that like that type of agreement. There is reasonings behind it. It's not to silence your voice. I mean, I think that people get it wrong because I have signed an NDA before for a film. I can't say what because, well, I signed an agreement. It wasn't anything fucking big or anything. Don't worry. It was like a small indie thing. Um, but I read it. I spoke to the director. I spoke to this and that, and we made an agreement, and then I signed it. I didn't just went and just signed it. Like I read it through. I checked the formalities. I checked all the shit. Making sure that I feel comfortable within the agreement. Because that's also some things that people don't do. They just sign shit and then they just go. They don't do they don't sit down with it. They don't do their research and shit like that. So it's needed. It's also documentation. Because if shit doesn't go the way that it's supposed to based on what you sign, you have that documentation to show as proof that look, I was agreed to this amount, I was agreed to this, I was agreed to that, and I was not, and those agreements were not met. So that's why that the shit is there, so that you also have this as proof if shit doesn't happen. So I get her point. I get what she's trying to say. Like I get that. I agree with her that yeah, I think that people should be able to vocalize themselves to a certain capacity. Like if someone is asking for like an opinion on something, sure, like you make a comment. Like what's the big deal if you make a comment? Even if they want to make comments on each other, like because I get what she's saying. It's like she should be able to talk about this person or this kind of person or whatever like that. Fine, that's fine. I mean, if you don't want to work with somebody, then just make clear don't work with somebody, or this and that. You know what I mean? It all depends on the the reason behind it, I think. If you're doing something to damage somebody's career, I think that that's a little petty, unless there's like serious allegations or serious things that you want to bring to the table, and it's like an occurring thing that's been happening with this person, then I get it. It's like, sure, that makes sense. But if you're just doing it just because you're insecure and you're just, what I mean, like yeah, I believe in vocalizing yourself. I believe in like letting yourself like, say, give an opinion and stuff like that. But I think it depends on the purpose of it. And I think that that's probably why, maybe studios and shit like that are kind of scared with like letting celebrities, open their mouths, because who knows what they might say, um, and how that might impact, certain things. So I can get the business side of it. I could also get the just keeping privacy and stuff like that. But I do agree with her where it's like, regardless, they should be able to give an opinion. They should be able to voice themselves in that capacity. I don't agree though that they should be bringing their private business into public. That I don't agree with. You need to handle that shit privately, because let somebody leak something of your shit out and then you're gonna have an issue with it. So it's like, it's just business. That's just how it is. Keep the business private, and anything else, I say that's fair game. You should be allowed to vocalize it. If you have an issue with, like, I don't know, the writer's strike, or if you have an issue with I don't know, a film or whatever like that, or if with a performer that you probably didn't like, maybe you had a bad experience with them or something like that. That's fine. That's fine. Or even if there are serious allegations that you want to bring to the table, and you have proof and you have all this stuff, you're not just saying shit, you know, like that I get, and I feel like, yeah, you should be able to do that sort of thing. You shouldn't have to consult with other people, you know, like that I can get. But anything else that's business oriented, or you're talking about your fucking contracts or how much you're getting paid and shit like that, that's shit that needs to be put out there, because that's in contract. That's between you and a studio. Like, again, like put yourself in that position. Would you like it if someone put out shit about you without your consent? You know what I mean? Like, that's ultimately what it is. So so I agree on the idea that, you shouldn't be prevented. You shouldn't be that restricted on, giving an opinion. But in any other capacity, it's like that's just how the nature of business is. Keep business between all parties involved, and leave and don't spill the beans to other people who aren't. So 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 that's my thoughts on that. Because I read that and I was just like, yeah, because when I signed my NDA, you know, it's but also it's like, it's not a guarantee. Like, the thing that I signed for, it wasn't a guarantee. I didn't end up actually starring in such thing, um, but that was ultimately my choice. I backed out on it because I didn't, I just wasn't, I didn't agree with some of the stuff that they were doing. Um, but with that, I'm not going to also reveal what they're working on out of respect, because that's their story and that's their stuff, and I don't have their consent or their authorization to reveal certain things. Hence why the NDA exists. So that's why these things exist, um, and I agree on that. I agree that 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 the NDA should be in place for that kind of reason. And the other reason, though, like Ruth Wilson was saying, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of strange that they can't vocalize themselves, because the notion that everybody is okay with everybody in Hollywood it's pretty stupid. So. And also, we live in the age of the internet, so I mean, shit's gonna get leaked out regardless. But there has to be formalities. There has to be business. You can't just say whatever you want and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's just, what I mean, like, it once you get involved in the business, you're playing that kind of game. So that's my whole point. You know, it's not like me, some nobody who gets to just say whatever. Like, there's, you know, there's a, it's just about consent at the end of the day. And if you don't have that consent, if you don't have that authorization, so you know, because that's all legal stuff you're getting into. It's not about, it's not about like personal stuff or like minuscule stuff. We're not children. It's not like, oh, don't talk about me and my boyfriend's breakup or whatever like that, like petty shit like that. We're not talking about shit like that. We're talking about business. We're talking about this and that, finances and stuff like that. There's a whole legal system behind it, so it's like, yeah, don't think that you have that kind of power. Or don't think that you should be allowed to talk about that stuff with total strangers, by the way. Like, what? Why do we need to know that information? I don't care about how much you're getting paid and shit like that. Now, if you tell me, yeah, I'm gonna make a comment on it, but at the end of the day, whatever. So 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 yeah, there is a necessity, but I get where she's coming from when she's saying like, look, we all don't agree we're not all on the same page. It's like, yeah, I agree with that point, but I don't agree with the point that you should be able to say whatever. Those restrictions are necessary in the context of business. So, but those are my thoughts. You guys know your thoughts on NDAs. If any of you guys have signed NDAs in the film world, let me know your experience if you're allowed to talk about it. Obviously, um, let me know your experiences with that, or just if you have a comment on it, just let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Excuse the sunburn. I just went to the beach and all that, so just excuse that. Um, and like I said, hopefully pretty soon here I'll be able to talk about why there's been so many topic videos, why there's been a little bit of a secrecy lately. I'll be able to talk about it when I can, when things, I mean, kind of like our whole discussion. It's like, you can't just say whatever you want. Sometimes you just gotta wait for certain things or get an approval on certain things or whatever like that. That's my whole point. So you can't always say whatever you want whenever you want. So, but um, but uh, but you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna put on some stuff when I get inside because I'm getting a little sweaty. But that's gonna be it for me, and I will catch you guys in the next video.